Uniswap value equivalent to 211.52 rands a coin. The present cost range 207.96 215.56. The earlier day close 210.32. The change was plus 120, plus than 57%. Backwards rate ZAR to Uni. Uniswap cost expectation for August 2024. At the outset cost at 244 rands. Excessive cost 244, while low cost 191. The arrived at the midpoint of cost 221. Uniswap cost conjecture toward the month's end 205. Change for August 16%. Uniswap conjecture for September 2024. At the outset cost at 205 rands. Excessive cost 255, while low cost 205. The arrived at the midpoint of cost 226. Uniswap cost estimate toward the month's end 238. Change for September 1%. Uniswap cost expectation for October 2024. First and foremost cost at 238 rands. Exorbitant cost 295, while low cost 238. They found the middle value of cost 262. Uniswap cost estimate toward the month's end 276. Change for October 16%. Uniswap estimate for November 2024. First and foremost cost at 276 rands. Exorbitant cost 276, while low cost 235. They found the middle value of cost 260. Uniswap cost estimate toward the month's end 253. Change for November 83%. Uniswap cost expectation for December 2024. Before all else cost at 253 rands. Excessive cost 277, while low cost 241. The arrived at the midpoint of cost 258. Uniswap cost conjecture toward the month's end 259. Change for December 24%. Uniswap conjecture for January 2025. Before all else cost at 259 rands. Excessive cost 281, while low cost 245. The arrived at the midpoint of cost 262. Uniswap cost conjecture toward the month's end 263. Change for January 15%. Uniswap cost expectation for February 2025. At the outset cost at 263 rands. Excessive cost 326, while low cost 263. The arrived at the midpoint of cost 289. Uniswap cost conjecture toward the month's end 305. Change for February 16%. Uniswap conjecture for Walk 2025. At the outset cost at 305 rands. Excessive cost 326, while low cost 284. The arrived at the midpoint of cost 305. Uniswap cost conjecture toward the month's end 305. Change for spring 0%. Uniswap cost expectation for April 2025. Before all else cost at 305 rands. Excessive cost 324, while low cost 282. They found the middle value of cost 304. Uniswap cost gauge toward the month's end 303. Change for April 27%. Uniswap gauge for May 2025. First and foremost cost at 303 rands. Exorbitant cost 303, while low cost 260. They found the middle value of cost 287. Uniswap cost estimate toward the month's end 280. Change for May 6%. Uniswap cost expectation for June 2025. Before all else cost at 280 rands. Excessive cost 280, while low cost 235. They arrived at the midpoint of cost 262. Uniswap cost conjecture toward the month's end 253. Change for June 6%. Uniswap conjecture for July 2025. Before all else cost at 253 rands. Excessive cost 282, while low cost 246. They arrived at the midpoint of cost 261. Uniswap cost conjecture toward the month's end 264. Change for July 43%. Uniswap cost expectation for August 2025. At the outset cost at 264 rands. Excessive cost 327, while low cost 264. They arrived at the midpoint of cost 290. Uniswap cost conjecture toward the month's end 306. Change for August 15.9%. Uniswap conjecture for September 2025. At the outset cost at 306 rands. Excessive cost 306, while low cost 248. They arrived at the midpoint of cost 282. Uniswap cost conjecture toward the month's end 267, change for September 12 7%. Uniswap cost expectation for October 2025. Initially cost at 267 rands, excessive cost 290, while low cost 252. The arrived at the midpoint of cost 270. Uniswap cost figure toward the month's end 271, change for October 15%. Uniswap figure for November 2025. Initially cost at 271 rands, excessive cost 316, while low cost 271. The arrived at the midpoint of cost 288. Uniswap cost figure toward the month's end 295, change for November 89%. Uniswap cost expectation for December 2025. Initially cost at 295 rands, excessive cost 353, while low cost 295. The arrived at the midpoint of cost 318. Uniswap cost figure toward the month's end 330, change for December 11.9%. Uniswap figure for January 2026. Before all else cost at 330 rands, excessive cost 358, while low cost 312. The arrived at the midpoint of cost 334. Uniswap cost gauge toward the month's end 335, change for January 15%. Uniswap cost expectation for February 2026. In the first place cost at 335 rands, exorbitant cost 416, while low cost 335. Found the middle value of cost 369. Uniswap cost gauge toward the month's end 389, change for February 1%. Uniswap gauge for Walk 2026. In the first place cost at 389 rands, exorbitant cost 389, while low cost 332. The arrived at the midpoint of cost 367. Uniswap cost conjecture toward the month's end 357, change for spring 2%. Uniswap cost expectation for April 2026. At the outset cost at 357 rands, excessive cost 388, while low cost 338. The arrived at the midpoint of cost 362. Uniswap cost conjecture toward the month's end 363, change for April 17%. Uniswap conjecture for May 2026. Before all else cost at 363 rands, excessive cost 395, while low cost 343. The arrived at the midpoint of cost 368. Uniswap cost conjecture toward the month's end 369, change for May 17%. Uniswap cost expectation for June 2026. To start with cost at 369 rands, exorbitant cost 394, while low cost